So when it comes to success, there are certain things that I don't believe that you should be sharing with people outside of your household. And to be clear, when I'm talking about success, I'm talking about generally from a financial perspective or a career perspective. So in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through some of the reasons why I don't think it's a good idea for you to share this information. And the very first reason is that a lot of people suffer from that crab in the barrel mentality. If you've known someone for your entire life and you start changing how you move, how you operate, how you think, the way that you just approach life in general, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be pushing back on you because of that. They're going to say that you think you're better than them. They're going to say that you forgot where you came from. There's going to be a whole bunch of things that they're going to have. They're going to have a lot of opinions on your life and how you're moving and why you shouldn't be doing the things that you think are the best for yourself. And one of the things that I learned early on out of the gate is best to just not share that information with certain people because they're never going to understand why you're moving in a particular direction. And to be honest with you, it's none of their business. Look, we're all in charge of ourselves and how we operate and what we want our futures to look like. And often what happens is we let way too many people that have opinions that shouldn't matter dictate how we operate. And what ends up happening is you stop chasing your goals, you stop chasing your dreams, you stop believing that you can achieve the things that you want to achieve just so you can just fit in with the crowd. And it may sound crazy, especially if you're a grown adult, hearing that type of peer pressure is enough to move you off your game. But I've talked to a lot of people over the past few years, and you would be amazed at how some of the decision-making process of certain people depend on how others will perceive them. Now, the second thing that I would definitely keep to myself and not be sharing with people is starting to invest in the stock market. So I have a daily investment challenge that I do on my channel, and I've had a lot of people leave comments about, hey man, investing $5 a day into this position is not going to do anything. You're not going to get rich. It's a waste of time. Insert opinion on my video. Now, I've said it in the past, and I'll say it again, and be clear, I don't make these videos because I want everyone to agree with 100% of what I say. I talk about the things that I believe in and the approach that I take. And if you don't agree with that, that's perfectly fine. That's healthy. Healthy debates are fine. But in real life, this happens to someone. So for example, you want to start investing in the stock market. You've never invested before. You're trying to learn and you're starting off by investing small amounts, maybe not every day, but you're investing small amounts. You tell someone you're investing, the very first thing they say is, oh man, you can make more money if you trade stocks instead of invest. You can make more money if you short this position, or you buy crypto for a week and sell that, and then you'll be able to flip that into something else. Insert any ridiculous opinion in there, right? And what I always tell people is investing small amounts of money is not going to make you rich. And to be honest with you, I don't believe that that's the goal of it. The goal is to get you used to investing, understanding how to invest, building that investment muscle. Because I can tell you, when I first started investing and I started off with a small amount of money and I saw my account start to grow, I tried to figure out ways to invest more money. And it almost became like a game to me. It was like, all right, I was able to invest $100 last month. This month, I'm investing $125. I'm going to cut something out of my budget so I can invest more. So you never really want to talk about investing with people that don't have similar goals as you, because they're always going to have an opinion of why you shouldn't do what you're trying to do. And then the next reason, and this is from a career perspective. Let's say you're 35 years old. You've been working in a particular industry your entire life. You've been thinking about changing your career. It may require you to go to get a trade, for example. Maybe it's going to take 6 or 9 months to get a certification so you can start a new career or start that business that you wanted to do. You made the mistake. You told somebody They could have been your friends, could have just been a relative. Then all of a sudden they start telling you about all the things that could go wrong, everything that could happen that could just destroy your dreams and your goals. And that is the reason why you shouldn't try to achieve that goal. There's always going to be an excuse of what if this doesn't work? What if X happens? What if Y happens? And that's a dangerous conversation to be in, especially when you're starting something brand new, because you're already having a little bit of doubt in your mind. Let's be real. Like when we try to achieve something, we try to think about, well, what if this doesn't work? I think that's normal. But when you have everybody in your circle that's doubling down on that, you really start to second guess yourself. So instead of having those conversations with people that you know are going to have those types of thoughts, why don't you start asking yourself, what if this does happen? What if this happens faster than I think it will? You start thinking like that, and your whole outlook on success starts to change. You go from a, what if this doesn't work, or what if this, or what if X happens, or what if Y happens, to when this does succeed, how am I going to handle success? How am I going to continue to have that hunger and that drive in me to keep going once I actually hit my destination? And then the next reason that I don't believe that you should be telling people about your goals to invest or to start that business or to get that new career is because if something happens, let's say you're working towards investing, and then you had something major happen. You had a major car repair you had to have. You had to pause your investing because you're just getting yourself on track. You don't really have an emergency fund yet. So you had to divert money from investing into getting your car fixed. And then right as that happens, just like clockwork, that person that you've been talking to about investing starts to ask you, so how's that little investing thing going? It's always that little thing, right? That little thing you're doing. How's that little investing thing going? Oh, well, I had to pause it because I had to get my car fixed. See, I told you it's not fast enough. It doesn't make enough money, and you were wasting your time, put money into the market, and it just doesn't work. You have to understand that we live in an era of instant gratification. So investing in the market, which is a long-term function, especially if you want to have some real wealth over time, takes time to acquire. And the mentality that we have in 2026 is that if it doesn't happen overnight or in the next 72 hours, it's not worth it. Look, go study the greats that have achieved massive wealth or just achieved goals. You look at somebody like a Warren Buffett from a financial perspective. You look at somebody like David Goggins from an overall goals perspective, and they talk about how they started with almost nothing, or they started at the bottom and then they had to mold themselves into what they wanted to be. That's why we love movies like Rocky. We love the hero's journey. We love the struggle. You have to start from nothing, overcome odds, and then achieve your goal. But in real life, it seems like we forget all about that because we want things done quickly. Then the next reason that I usually discourage people from sharing too much of what they have going on is I think you get a premature dopamine hit. And what I mean by that is say you do have a group of people that are supportive. You're telling them what's going on. You're sharing your progress, and they start hyping you up. And you start to think, I got this. This is easy now. I understand it. I understand the assignment. You take your eye off the ball, and then all of a sudden, things stop going your way. So you had that premature celebration, right? It's like almost like the person that's running the race, they celebrate before they cross the tape. And then the person right behind them, they actually pass them and they actually win. They did all the work. They did what they were supposed to do, but they didn't continue to have that same drive that they previously had. And then lastly, you want to make sure that you always protect your leverage. And what do I mean by that? So there's a lot of people that work in corporate America. And in corporate America, it's almost like an unspoken rule that, you're there to work for them. You build the company, you work as hard as you can. And I truly believe that. But the hours of 5 to 9, let's just say 5 to 9, are hours for me that I could do whatever I want, to build my business, to work on my YouTube channel, to whatever I want to do. But sometimes you have people that are willing to sabotage your ability to do that if they think that you're paying more attention to your personal stuff as opposed to what you're supposed to be doing for them. I know it's crazy, but if you've ever worked in corporate America, there are a lot of people there that that's all they have. Outside of corporate America, they don't really have much going on. And I'm not saying that to shame people, it's just the truth. If you've worked in corporate America, leave a comment down below because you understand. But you never want to put yourself in a position where you're putting too much of your information out there and it's ultimately going to come back to bite you because you let too many people know what's going on in your life. Look, I'm a needs to know basis kind of guy. I will tell you what you need to know, but that's it. You don't need to know anything else that's going on in my life outside of that. Now, of course, I have this YouTube channel where I do share certain aspects of my life with you guys, but I'm just talking about in general. In general, I'm just not out there sharing information that doesn't need to be shared. So what do you guys think, right? I truly believe that there are certain things that you should keep to yourself, especially when it comes to finances, career progression, and the goals that I'm looking to achieve. Leave a comment down below. Do you agree with that? Why or why not? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.